Alright folks, thank you for watching that quick commercial break. We're going to get into a brand new best of 3 here, and it's another preliminary match. The winner of this goes on to fight against Rainer. The loser falls to fight against Ryquiz. Now I did say before the break that this was going to be one I was more interested in, and I'll talk on that in a moment. Before we do, in the bottom right, it's going to be Dead Pixel's blue Protoss FeaR.
In the top left has the red Terran. He is InZaNe.
Alright, so InZaNe actually, I believe it was the Ting Open Season 1, surprised a lot of people by qualifying through. Might be misremembering which tournament it was. I think it was Ting Open Season 1. Point is, he was this kind of like quote-unquote no-name player, and people were like, well, how serious were these qualifiers that people like InZaNe got through? And I kind of said, like, it doesn't really matter if he wins or loses in that initial group stage or anything like that, because he did get through the qualifiers. And if you guys don't know, the qualifiers we run for Ting and many of these other bigger events we have are pretty rigorous. So getting through the qualifiers alone is pretty impressive, in my opinion. So we already have a bit of, you know, I don't want to say love in our hearts, but just like, it's been impressed by InZaNe in the past. Alternatively, we've more recently seen FeaR make a small appearance in our temporary team league, which is on a current hiatus. I guess we'll talk on that in a moment. But himself showing that he's not too shabby of a player either. And while these guys might not exactly be the A-list European pros that you expect to be, you know, qualifying for BlizzCon type thing, I would put them still at an, I'd say, even-ish skill level. So this should make the matchup a lot more interesting than watching something really one-sided.
I agree on that point. I do look forward to the CVP, but I don't think InZaNe was the Terran that you're thinking of that got through Ting.
He got through something we did. He got through something we did.
I know he did. Because InZaNe definitely sounds familiar, and like a familiar, like, oh, he surprised me that one time, and so I'm looking forward to casting him type remembrance. But it wasn't Ting. I think that Terran was the Botfinic. And Lucanine, actually. Lucanine surprised me getting through, but we know him. But it's true that I think the skill is going to be pretty nicely matched here. And they're, of course, both pretty well adjusted to being cast and streamed, and there's no problems there, I would say, when it comes to nerves. And it'll just be like, who's the better Terran, who's the better Protoss?
He's a well-adjusted kid.
Yeah.
So the Reaper hops in. It's not likely to do much, unfortunately. They just aren't in TVP. Quick comment on what I said before about the stall out of the temporary team league. We've unfortunately had Major and a couple other players just have constant things come up and conflicts, and not that they could help it. I mean, Copa America is a big deal, and they should fly to Mexico, and they should go do all these things, or Brazil, excuse me, and go do these things. Major coming from Mexico is my mistake there. So our temporary team league finals were meant to happen. Unfortunately, that's been pushed off, and now we got to delay that too, and it's the whole thing. So FeaR will still be playing in those, I believe, since he's in one of the 3 teams remaining, but unfortunately, not anytime soon. Now we do have pylons get placed down on the other side of the map, and the mothership core coming with the overcharge, almost guaranteed to pick off at least the reactor.
Just run, you fools!
Work? Fight the mothership? Work? There we go. They almost got one of the pylons. Now for FeaR, he's going for the depot break. I mean, I feel like you're going to get both. There you go. But the reactor seems like a much better pickup to me personally. Just, it cuts out production so hardcore, and then you're not going to have 6 or 8 Marines. You're going to have like 3 or 4.
Well, he still might be able to get it with 2 potent overcharges and that one pylon not dying. Or maybe it still could have. Of course, the mothership core can actually take on 2 Marines that were left over. But yep, there you go. There it goes down. Thank you to Turtle Punch for the 4-1-3 sub.
Don't go around turtle punching. Don't go around punching poor little turtles.
That's not right.
I was gonna say defenseless, but you know what? They've got a hard shell.
They're actually perfectly capable of defense, but they can't fight back.
Right, yeah. Well, unless your definition of defense is a good offense.
And then they're terrible defense. Then yes, you're correct.
Yes. So they're the worst defenders, despite their amazing shell. Wow, the Ninja Turtles have a hard life. Jesus.
Well, they also eat nothing but pizza all the time, so I mean, they probably really should be quite out of shape.
Find me the downside to that.
They should probably be quite out of shape. See, Michelangelo trying to.
No, it's like, you know, like people who bodybuild,
like,
they have to eat like 9 chicken breasts a day, 7,000 calories.
That's true, they do. But I don't think that the pizza would actually meet all your macros unless you're like also getting like chicken breast on the pizza. Like, maybe you get meat lovers actually. Maybe you would. It'd be a hell of an assault though.
Just don't get Hawaiian, am I right?
Hey, no one needs pineapple in their diet.
All right, so a couple things first. Rain, thank you for the 9-month resub. Fantastic artist. Make sure you give that guy a nice check out and shout out if you see him in chat, guys. Probe's pulled away from this. Kind of sucks. Not a lot he can do about it, but he does have the pylon on the way, and the stalkers now position themselves that this Liberator should not be a problem. So InZaNe, unfortunately, just going to have to walk away with it for the time being. Double Oracle Patrol, though, going to get pushed off by a turret. They already picked up a Cyclone in the middle of the map. I'm surprised to see InZaNe go for another one. It's not going mech, is he? No, he just is 1-1-1 opening.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty safe.
Turret.
Yeah, safety turret. Really scared, I guess, that FeaR could go up to maybe even a third Oracle, and in which case his add-ons are definitely could be under fire. Even with 2, the add-ons could be under fire. But this is a very old-fashioned Avisa push. It's small, and Protoss usually don't have to fear break down the rocks, but this time probably should have. Thanks.
Because the player's name is FeaR.
6 SCVs went down.
I love it.
To the 2 oracles without them dying, by the way. So nicely done, that micro. But this is some nice damage. But FeaR does have a 3rd base, so keep in mind this isn't like he's not mining at all.
Ooh.
She's still mining pretty well.
Also, just seeing the fact that it's not a cancel, this is definitely a little bit of panic going on here. Not playing this out absolutely perfectly, and sometimes you just have to on the defense. To ask for anything less than perfection could mean death. The fact that that wall was never taken down, I mean, it's not like there's charge lots, but it's also means there's no depth so I can transfer on top of this. The Oracle comes in from the backside, actually, and funny enough, we'll find that tank unguarded, shoots the Cyclone even, the tank goes down, and the tank is the biggest component of this that makes this truly dangerous. So, shout out to those 2 Oracles. Apparently that's enough to clean this up when the Marines are away. Oh no.
Am I right? Oracles.
Right? Don't worry, guys. They only do bonus damage to light, okay?
To be fair, InZaNe did not have a very strong push. It was entirely positional based.
He's got one more blink coming up. Might catch that medevac with the tank inside of it. Rest in pepperoni's pizza.
Well, that isn't game. It's not very good at all for InZaNe. He also missed macroed back at home. He should probably have his 3rd CC. Oh, it is done. Never mind. But he still should have had his production facilities a little bit faster. He's banking 700 minerals. And I guess his gas has been a little late. Or he just used all of them just now.
Not to mention, you know, upgrades are a little bit late to the party too. It's 1 engineering bay, not 2. There's a lot of things for InZaNe that I don't know. I hesitate to call wrong, but just simply are working against him in this situation. Because had he been able to dedicate a little bit more and that attack got more damage done, then it wouldn't matter that he was slipping on any of these things or a little bit late to the party with production. FeaR, by the way, takes just a 4th straight up. What's up? Hello.
Yeah, FeaR is really outproducing InZaNe and out-macroing InZaNe. Again, like, even if InZaNe still had that 1 tank push, still kind of going along and denying half the minerals on the natural, I still think that FeaR has an okay economy. It would have been basically 2 bases versus 2, like 2.5. Oh, clever. Oh, you.
That's a nice stall out. It does scan right away, but still a scan now burned to take a command center. Big counter push coming out of this. I guess it's not really a counter push. It's just like a push down the middle of the map. And FeaR's got a lot of adepts with this. Now, I see some people in chat getting a little bit salty with that pylon push from earlier. I just want to comment that there was a long period of time where that was so common. You just had Terran players put a bunker on the bottom of the ramp, problem solved, and that never really became an issue. Those pylons only get away with it because people let them.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I really don't think it's that big of a deal anymore, unless you actually see them win off of it.
I mean, you didn't see an adept follow-up through it. There wasn't any.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of adept follow-up, though, they're going to transfer right through on top of the bio. Unfortunately, no chance to survive. Make your time, Marines. Going to go down. Tank, not here to fight. InZaNe's going to tap out. GG gets called. FeaR takes the first game in this best of 3.
With almost ease, unfortunately. InZaNe doing some old-fashioned stuff, though, that I really feel doesn't work against Protoss anymore.
Well, that's going to, I guess, considering like what he could do differently, right? Like on one hand, like, okay, maybe there's that trick with the bunker at the bottom. Was losing the reactor, was getting supply blocked. Was that really what screwed him in that game, or was it his choice of tactics and strategy? I mean, he did try to play to the map, so bonus points there, but obviously didn't work out too well as the Oracles were pretty darn good.
No one anticipates the 2 Oracles killing all the units.
No.
You know, like a tank and a Cyclone. Like, at least the tank's supposed to be pretty buff, but...
I don't know if even FeaR expected those to get away with as much as he did. I mean, pick off the Cyclone or the tank, but then, like, clean up the entire drop afterwards. That's just, like, Protoss perfection for him.
Yeah. That's when it looks silly. He could have micro better for sure, and that push is all about your micro. But and I also just I simply just don't like these pushes anymore. To be honest, like even someone who I really highly like regard in their micro and tank micro, like Thermal, I still don't think I would like a push like this anymore.
Man, I have all morning had this feeling like there's something in my eye.
Yo. Okay, well, it wasn't my eye, it was my nose, actually. But like, I felt like I had, like, a hair, like a cat hair in my nose or something. I just could not, like, blow it out, man.
That
it was the
sucks.
worst, and I kept on sneezing.
Yo, I hate when you also, like, if you end up, like, accidentally getting a piece of hair in your mouth, like, you're
Oh my god.
nuzzling your cat.
Oh, okay, I don't know about cat fur. That is a bit, like, a long, like, you know, like one of my hairs, you know? Like,
so, luckily, I haven't had to deal with that for a couple of years. But yeah, that was always
it just stays there. You feel it. Ha.
Gross.
I know. I don't like remember the last time this has happened to me, but it's such a terrible feeling. Okay.
I know, it leaves you scarred. I'm not even judging. I'm there with you on this, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, game number 2 kicks off on Frozen Temple. Wrong race though. Nailed it.
PvT.
This is where you just surprise him. He expects the pylon all in, but really it's Reapers.
Someone 4-racks marined me in a TVT yesterday.
Oh boy, did you?
That was mean. That's what you should do.
Did you lose?
I did lose.
Oh, I'm so mad at you right now.
I'm so mad at myself. I like lost. Well, the first Reaper was already across the map, so I had to bring that back. But then the second Reaper, which I bothered to make, I lost it.
By the way,
yesterday was not a good day.
I was actually on someone else's stream talking about this yesterday, but I have not touched ladder since last season. Like I got my masters and just said, nah, I don't need to play anymore. And then it just went from not needing to play anymore into just loving co-op so much. So I'm sitting here rather than boasting a Masters League rank presently, instead have like a fucking level 80 mastery and co-op for whatever that's worth. Like,
nice. Yeah, I didn't really want to either. I wanted to actually do more test map, but no one's playing that anymore. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do my placement matches. And then that was a mistake, because I was totally out of shape. And I'd just been playing Nova, who, by the way, doesn't need supply depots, for those of you who haven't played her yet.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. So Nova doesn't need supply depots, and she starts off with like a 100 supply and has a 100 supply cap, which is a little bit frustrating, because I found that as I was building her units, like I kept getting supply blocked, and I'm using air quotes here, at like 95 supply. Like,
yeah. Dude, did you like the Raven? I loved her Raven. It's the cheapest thing she can get.
It's the cheapest thing she can get. I'm wondering if that's a bug, but then followed up by the fact that its abilities are interesting. Like the Secret Missile is instant, which is cool.
Yeah.
The railgun turrets are not the same as the same turrets you can build, which I find weird because they're the same turrets. So I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, I don't know. It's more cooldown than energy base is what I like.
Yeah, I like that repair. Repair drone.
Yeah, the was it biomechanical something or other.
Yeah, but most of all, I like that it's cheap. 100, 200. It's got to be a mistake.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll find out if they fix that in due time. It might just be because the cooldown's so long that they don't actually have any plans to fix it.
Eventually, though, when you get to like level 13, you get an upgrade, or they come automatically with like 50% reduced countdown time in two like ammo's worth, I guess. I don't know what you would call it.
Charges?
They get thank you, charges. 2 charges for each of their spells. Words.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some words for you. This is game number 2 in the Dutch StarCraft League Group A preliminary match. Again, the winner of this goes on to fight against Raynor. The loser falls to fight against Rayquaza. Spawning here on the bottom right side of Frozen Temple, however, it's going to be the Green Terran player InZaNe.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is FeaR.
So I was thinking on recent events, Pro League and all this stuff, right? And I know I made some jokes about Ting and other crazy things, like what if we get a Ting and then have the finals at a DreamHack? But it made me think like one step further. What if we had like Ting Right, and this is, I want to make this perfectly clear again, guys. This is another Rifkin hypothetical. Nothing here is even close to happening. Nothing here has even been suggested to any sponsors, okay? But this is a Rifkin hypothetical. What if we had something where we had like Ting and Corsair and all our sponsors come together, put a lot of money down, work with the studio that's helping out the Alima League with Twitch Korea, and like make a league over there? Because for them, they want an American-based audience, which we certainly freaking have. And if it's made clear that like Koreans aren't watching StarCraft 2, then where are all those numbers coming from? Probably America! Right where they need to market.
So we'd use the studio in Korea? We had to like then make everyone fly to Korea?
No, I mean like they just host like their own Korean league over there. Like you don't need pro league, you don't need big things.
Oh, okay.
There's like potentially a brand new studio that might be looking for work. Because I don't know, I've never talked to the guys that, like for those who don't know, by the way, for the Alima League, that's only Molly taking care of all that. Like she's the one who works with the folks at Twitch Korea, does the studio stuff, all that stuff. Like I've never talked to anybody from there. But I'm just saying, like what if they're open to the idea? Like I wonder if that's something you could possibly throw together. Maybe it wouldn't be as big as pro league was because that's a lot of freaking money, but still. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know what their plans are or what they're looking for, I guess. And they might not even, by the way, because it is a bit of a it's a what's that word? A startup. I was gonna say upstart. It's a startup, so. But that is interesting.
I think I just really can't wait for BlizzCon to talk to Jesse about seeing what we're doing in Season 3 Ting. That's what it comes down to.
And I can't wait until that plus the week after. I go to Korea.
Yeah, going to Korea to cast the Alima League year-end finals is going to be an experience to say the least. I know you're very, very excited about it because it's going to Korea. You love Korea. I, on the other hand, am a little bit, let's say, anxious, to say the least.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you want to give this one a shout-out?
Whoa, I love this one. Who is this? G baby. Just subscribe with Twitch Prime.
Thank you so much. Now, an Adept comes out of FeaR across the map. It will be beaten to death with a Cyclone, however. It's worth noting that there was no pylons coming down. There's no probe rushing across the map, and there's not going to be those really obnoxious overcharges to deal with. So, for me, it's a little bit funny because this would be the map to do it on, in my opinion, of all the maps. But by letting InZaNe get with a Cyclone, even perhaps going full-on into mech as a second factory comes down, this might be troublesome for FeaR. Not because mech is really OP and strong, but we are seeing a lot of these situations arise. We've got Terran players trying to make mech come back and be a thing, and the folks who are dying to it aren't bad players, but they sit there not responding because they never have to play against it.
Yeah, it's the people that don't know how to play against mech that are having trouble against mech in Legacy of the Void's expansion, basically. But I already have a good feeling for FeaR. Well, not anymore. This is Mothership Core. Whoopsie daisy, my bad. But no, the fact that he's already getting Blink, I think, is a lot better of a starting upgrade against mech, Cyclone mech to be specific. Because if you get Adepts, I really don't think they're gonna do. They never can. Okay, they catch the Cyclones for like a second, and the Cyclones get out of range, and they kill a lot of them. And it really works out like you would think, or you would hope. But for Blink, we've seen really capable Protoss players use Blink and keep the Cyclone count low, which is kind of the most important part, because once it gets above like 10 or 12, then there really is not much you can do.
Thank you, Gnomeskull, for the 9-month resub, by the way. Shoutouts and thanks. He says you guys are cool. Keep up the good work. Well, you're cool for watching, and keep up the support. 4 Stalkers at the top of the ramp would normally be able to take these Cyclones on. They might actually heal for the next 9 seconds, but once Magfield Accelerator kicks in, that's a lot of extra damage. The Hellions actually wrap around to give high ground vision, allowing for a lock-on more easily, and as you can see, 3 shots to Stalkers. It's kind of nasty to deal with.
Yes, it is. Blink wasn't quite done, otherwise they would have even chased to something there, and it's obvious that Blink is on the way to InZaNe, by the way. Like, you see that many Stalkers, they gotta be upgrading that Blink. But the question really is like, how much can FeaR control the game? If he can control the game at all, he's not actually pushing out. There he goes now. And how much can InZaNe get away with mech? So he's not going pure Cyclone mech. He is transferring over into tanks now.
And he's got some Widow Mines down, so he's looking to catch a couple of these Stalkers. But, I mean, the Observer's coming out. This Widow Mines, well, normally fantastic, won't be in this situation. The tanks don't have medevac support. Nothing's going to shuffle them around. So I just feel like right now, this is not a great situation for InZaNe, even though I think for some others it might be.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, this game might end. I didn't really expect it to. The tank from the high ground actually, non-siege mode, getting some pretty nice DPS. But the ones, unfortunately, were not very helpful. That one was. Good job, buddy.
That being said, there's still a lot of stalkers, and had that warp and been in depths, this could have been even worse. But just blinks in on top of the tank, decides to focus it down. Might start doing some micro. You pick up with that warp prism from like so far away. You can break the lock-ons with this too, specifically what he's doing. So nice control out of FeaR so far. But InZaNe manages to hold on, and with a respectable worker count at that. His army supply also is greater than that of FeaR's, and I don't know. Like, I guess this isn't looking so bad for InZaNe after all.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the important thing is that he held right there. FeaR, you could see why he thought that was a good move. Like, it looked like it could have been a kill move or something that he could have maybe taken out a couple more SCVs with.
There's nothing
speaking
here.
of worker kills.
Yep.
Go Forcefield, go.
Hey, Flexible, thanks for the 5-month resub. Every time I need to finish an assignment, BaseTradeTV happens to be streaming. Good force field to buy some time for these probies, but the problem is they're still kind of out in the open, kind of exposed. And these Hellions are not concentrating their fire, but still 9 or so probes go down for this. And that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. FeaR is on 3 Nexus though, so triple probe production, probably gonna be back up in no time at all. 4th base already on the way. I was gonna say, since that wasn't a kill move, hindsight 2020, probably should have just kept InZaNe off of a 3rd base, but Stalkers aren't, well, every Protoss unit's kind of expensive, but you can definitely replace Stalkers. Not like he lost 6 Immortals right there. And he should be able to, I think, receive this push. If it is a push, it might just be him pushing out to the 3rd base. Or harass the 3rd base. He has got the Warp Prism, of course, so you can go into the natural, into the main, while attacking the 3rd with your Stalkers, or any sort of mixture like that. But InZaNe's getting to that point where it's like, okay, you're going to have 10 tanks, a couple of Widow Mines. Eventually, he'll probably put some missile turrets down for just that solid Warp Prism defense. And it'll be very hard for FeaR to break them. And this is usually where the Protosses really start to have trouble. They can kill a mech player early game, then who cares? But in the mid game and the late game, it can be a little more difficult. And it looks like FeaR is going to be going for the Disruptor tech choice to deal with this, which isn't bad.
Better than Colossus.
That's certainly true, but I think because it is tank mech, and his observer is confirming this entire time, by the way, and that's really important, because at any time he swaps over to Cyclones, like for instance right now, FeaR can actually adapt to that, but I'd say if it was pure tank, maybe Immortals and like charge out Archon would have been better, but Disruptors are, they're going to get that splash damage on the clumped up tanks or Cyclones.
So that double turret, by the way, ends up being really worth it as it kills the Warp Prism. The depths are slowly getting dealt with, but not before racking up quite a few SCV kills. Even a Stalker here, just, pull the SCVs into it. He's busy fighting to the north. That's why he's not looking. This might cost him, but at the same time, InZaNe, if he beats this army to death out of FeaR, he can just push through to win, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The Adepts are a little too good, and the tanks are way too expensive to lose like this.
Yeah, I wonder why he felt so confident pushing out with a tank count. Adepts, if their shade is good, then they can definitely take on tanks. But if there's like Hellbats there, or if the tanks can actually escape and let the Widow Mines deal with them, or some sort of other situation happens, then maybe they're not. But it's the Adepts are doing the work. The Disruptor is not even necessary here. The Cyclones are out now, but they don't really have a lot of space to micro with. They're stuck at home, so they're probably just going to get taken out.
Well, the tanks are actually getting some really nice shots at these very clumped up units.
Yeah,
but there's the transfer. Liberator sets up to try and hold on to the SCVs. FeaR's really looking to kill workers when, honestly, I feel like killing the army is not out of question, but either way. Moving on to Disruptors next for the follow-up. He's going to have upgrades at the galore. I mean, he's got +2 finishing up as we speak. Unfortunately, InZaNe has no upgrades to speak of. And while mech doesn't benefit from upgrades the same way Bio does, it's still a very big, important aspect of it. I mean, Blue Flame only goes so far.
Yeah. And it was pretty late in this specific game. InZaNe has probably taken too much damage to recover, but he can try and turtle, get some Blue Flame Hellion run-bys to at least halt FeaR production and max out. But that was pretty devastating to lose all of those tanks. He is going to just go into what looks to be Cyclones again here, only getting the tanks to cover kind of his bases, but
Well,
honestly, not even all of his bases.
Actually, you know, I might be curious to talk about the upgrades now, because I think about it more and more. I mean, Magfield Accelerator and Blue Flame Hellions, like, those are your upgrades. Those are the plus weapon damage. You get, like, what, +5 to light from Blue Flame, and then double the damage literally on the Cyclone versus Armored, so you kind of have your bases covered ideally. And that's where production ends up being more important. But InZaNe doesn't have a big army supply lead. He's at 57 army supply to the 75 of FeaR.
When Lilicanine goes for like almost pure Cyclone, he does also get a couple of tanks, but like pure Cyclone, he only gets the armor upgrade from mech, actually, because of the things you're just talking about. So either that or ship upgrades, if you're going to continue building Liberators, I think are the upgrades that you would want to go for. Playing mech nowadays versus Protoss, but he's going for the regular attack upgrade.
Oh, he goes in.
Break is happening here. Maybe?
The super shots are actually pretty darn good for this. The Cyclones don't even kite away, and that's the one thing they're meant to do, man. It's not just to play cop and get on top of the tanks. GG finally gets called. It looks like FeaR will take a 2-0 and move on to fight against Raynor in the winners match. But InZaNe fans, I mean, it's going to be a TVZ. It's going to be a PvZ. Both these players fighting Zerg next, and I think I'd say InZaNe's got a good chance against Rayquaza. I'm not sure if it is losers match first or winners match first. I know we do it differently than most, so if it's conventional, then I think we do the winners match. Looks like players don't know either. So we're gonna go to a commercial break, guys, of 2 minutes. Stick with us. We'll see you soon with updates on what match is on the way.